So Brendan, I appreciate your time. We've been doing this sleep thing for a bit, and for the most part, we're just thrilled with the results. Like the sleep hoodie is actually helping people sleep.
Sure.
I set off on this journey. I just needed a better sleep shirt for myself. I figured it was out there. Amazingly, it wasn't out there because seemingly everything has been invented to this point.
Right.
So when it wasn't available, I just put this thing together. It worked for me, and I'm thrilled that it's working for others. So you and I work in the same office building.
Yes.
So I was curious when I saw your name come across with an order. I was curious how you found out about it.
Yeah.
So how did that actually happen?
So it was just like you said, we work in the same office. I, talked to you like in passing, but
Right.
then I actually talked to the landlord and I said, what does Glenn do? And he goes, oh, he's got the sleep hoodie thing. And you had a card. So I grabbed your card, looked it up. I'm one of these Amazon shoppers who's looking for reviews and things like that. And
Yeah.
It seemed like it was positively reviewed. So
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Let me try it out and see what it's all about. So that's kind of how I ended up finding your product.
So that's interesting. What drew you to it? Like, were you having sleep issues, or what was
I wouldn't
behind
say
the motivation?
that, not to get too long-winded here, but there's just been in my age group, I'm now 48, and there are probably plus or minus 5 years of me. A number of people have had some significant health issues.
Yeah.
And so I, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, have really tried to focus more on my health and make sure that, if I'm one of these unfortunate people that does get sick with something serious, that hopefully I've put my body in a good position to fight whatever it is. Obviously, that helped with COVID and things like that. I did have COVID, but it was a pretty mild experience and not too bad. So, I do try to exercise. I do keep track of, my statistics and things like that. I have this little band that keeps track of things like, how much strain I put on my body each day, how much sleep I'm getting, so on and so forth. And so I said, let me see if the sleep hoodie actually will impact those numbers that I am tracking day in and day out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what attracted me to it.
Do you do other stuff to aid your sleep?
Not really.
Okay. Because there are so many gadgets out there and devices. Some work,
the
some don't.
The only thing that we have done, I've been married for over 20 years now, and ever since I met my wife, we've always slept with like a white noise machine.
You have,
or
okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
But that's the extent of any kind of sleep aids that we actually have.
What about, and I'm just, you never know where the conversation is going to go. I'm curious now because I've learned so much about the everything that goes into somebody's sleep system, right? Mattress, curtains, white noise machine, diffuser, the list goes on. And some people are pretty, they got some weird things going on, but whatever works.
Right, whatever the routine is.
So you had the white noise machine. I'm going to assume you've got a decent mattress, which is the biggest investment.
I was just about to say, that was one thing that my wife and I said, we don't have that much money, but we're going to invest in a mattress because it's so important. If you just, again, from a dollars and cents, not even a dollars and cents standpoint, but just mathematically, you're spending a third of your life in bed.
Yeah.
So if you're not creating an environment that is conducive to, putting yourself in the right place for a third of your life,
optimizing sleep. It's great to hear this because I say this in every conversation, is that sleep has had such a bad PR issue forever, really. I'll sleep when I'm dead, sleeps for the week, all of that.
Right.
So it's refreshing to hear more and more people saying that they are prioritizing sleep. They do understand all the benefits of sleep, and just as importantly, the threat that comes with sleep deprivation. Like everything imaginable that can be bad for us happens through sleep deprivation. So that was one thing I didn't know going into this. Stepping back, what were you used to? And I love asking this question. This is the greatest icebreaker with people. What were you used to sleeping in?
Again, no real routine or whatever. It was pretty much t-shirt and shorts, t-shirt and pants,
Yeah.
pants. Like,
Okay.
Nothing.
Whatever was laying around.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, like I typically wear a button-down shirt, so I usually have an undershirt underneath.
Oh yeah.
And that's usually what I wear
Wow.
on top, and then the bottoms I'm usually sweatpants or shorts.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's a very popular answer. It's t-shirt and boxers.
Yep.
You know.
I
So
have 2 daughters, and they sometimes crawl into bed, so I can't do the boxers.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That
So I
makes sense.
need some short or something.
So your relationship with sleep, has it always been good, or was it just in the last 5 to 10 years that you started paying attention to it?
I've actually been a pretty good sleeper.
Right.
My wife is the exact opposite. She's not a very good sleeper, and it's kind of a good thing, bad thing, because we have 2 now younger kids. They're 9 and 15. And she'd be the one that woke up at night if she heard someone rustling, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm an early to bed, early riser, and she's almost the polar opposite. She goes to bed late and wakes up late.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we complement each other pretty well in that regard.
Sure.
But I think a little bit to her detriment, because she's a very light sleeper.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. There are so many different sleepers out there that there's no one silver bullet, right? It takes a combination of things, the most important being prioritizing sleep. So it's great to hear that you're on that journey that will literally lengthen your life, and hopefully along the way it will improve your quality of life too. So to the hoodie.
Yes.
I hear feedback is mostly outstanding. And oftentimes I've heard, because people are used to just grabbing whatever's laying around, or they're sleeping in nothing, it may take a while to get used to the sleep hoodie. You have a long sleeve, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that could take some getting used to also. So I'm curious what your initial experience with the sleep hoodie was.
Initial experience. I definitely get hot, so the longer sleeve was probably a little bit too warm for me at times. So I did actually have to shed some blankets off the bed when I was wearing it. I also always, and my wife always joked with me about this, is that I'd always put the sheet over my head and like create like almost like a little cocoon. And I said, don't ever like yank the covers, because you might break my neck.
Right.
So I almost inadvertently created my own sleep hoodie using the bed sheets. So it was really kind of cool to actually not have to worry about pulling it over my head and potentially losing my life by my wife yanking on the sheets
by
too
mistake.
quickly. Exactly. Oh, there's life insurance here. But yes, it was positive. I also, the thing that I don't know, and maybe I don't know enough about the sleep hoodie and the research that you've gotten from, or the feedback you've gotten from users, but one of the things that I think is an underrated benefit of it is the padding around the sleep mask piece. It does 2 things. It muffles any noise, so it kind of helps with that. The other piece of it is it's just comfortable. It's almost like having a pillow for your eyes.
Right.
So it's
a great way of putting it.
Yeah, it's that piece of it I like a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that same feedback from a lot of people saying this is the most comfortable sleep mask, and I've tried them all that I've ever worn, and that it goes over the years as a bonus. And that was very thoughtful. When I designed this, I wanted a mask that didn't get in the way, but was comfortable and obviously blocked light. But the sound muffling that in and of itself is kind of like a white noise machine.
Yes. Yep.
It doesn't completely block the noise, and it's not meant to. You should still be able to hear the kids or the dog or whatever. So there's some comfort there too. Some emotional and mental comfort. But a lot of thought went into that, and it's great to hear these people saying this is my favorite feature of the hoodie. And the cocooning thing, that's what I wanted to create too, because as I was developing this, I would go into the covers, and then either after a while I'd be sweating and I'd have to get back out, and that's disruptive, obviously, or I'd be suffocating, because I would really cocoon and I'd just be exhaling and inhaling kind of the same probably not very good oxygenated air, if that's even a term. But it's nice. The same thing. You're cocooning, but can still breathe. The temperature is kind of taking care of itself. So I've found the same benefits. So when it comes to quality of sleep, do you feel like you're getting better sleep with the hoodie? And
yes,
it is.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
So are you feeling better when you wake up? Like, I want to know more about your experience sleeping in the hoodie and how you feel the next day. Do you look forward to getting into the hoodie at night? I hear that a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely, I wake up less fatigued, and I'm not, as desperate for a cup of coffee in the morning. Yeah.
Great.
So again, I think it's almost cliche to say, but you just feel more rested. Like more energy, less sluggishness.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Across the board. Here's another question. I don't know the answer to this. But the older you get, the more you have to get up at night. Maybe visit the bathroom. Is that something that you've always had to do, or?
So far, knock on wood, that has not been an issue for me.
Good.
But I'm well aware that that's something that's right around the corner for me.
Well, I mean, it all depends. Like, I never get up, and I hear for people that are a little bit older that wear the hoodie, I didn't have to get up. Like, that hasn't happened to me in years, and so that was, I'll say, gratifying, because we're bringing these benefits that I didn't even see coming. And the other thing that I hear a lot, there's so many ways to wear it. So what is your practice with it? Do you wear the hood and the mask all the time? Is it just one or the other sometimes? What's your practice?
The mask all the time, and then the hood probably 75% of the time.
Okay.
So 75% of the time hood and mask, 25% of the time just the mask.
Great.
And again, it all comes down to temperature.
Temperature, I find that it depends on like how I'm feeling. If I have a little bit of a cold or something and I really want to cocoon, but mostly temperature. Have you used it while traveling?
Yes. Yep. So you and I talked about this prior to. I just came back from a 3-day camping trip, and some of the people I was with in other tents were on the louder side when it came to snoring and things like that. And between the white noise machine that I use, I just pretty much off of one of the music apps pulled up a white noise app and
easy
played
enough.
that. And with the sleep hoodie, and I can say this, and this is, I won't further qualify it, but it was the best sleep I've had camping.
Wow.
Camp sleeping is a whole different animal,
Indeed.
because you're obviously outside. You have to have the right sleeping bag, and then the camp pillows are not so comfortable. The camp cots are not so comfortable. So there's a lot of new variables that you're introducing into the mix.
Right.
And so I've never been a great camp sleeper, and but with the hoodie, I probably slept the best this past weekend that I just finished. So it definitely has become an essential pack, or an essential piece of clothing in my backpack.
And that's thrilling to hear. And it packs so well.
Yes.
Like you can put it in your pocket
Yep.
without a problem. And other people they've worn it all day,
Mm-hmm.
like while hiking,
Mm-hmm.
because it wicks sweat.
Yep. I
And
can
I'm like,
totally see that.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's pretty much active wear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are going to take a nap along the trail. I can't see that happening, but you just never know. Like people are making this their own, which is great to see.
Mhm.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to share about the hoodie that people would appreciate? You've shared plenty already.
Yeah, I was just about
Great.
to say, I don't know if there's much. No, I think
Yeah.
I think I've covered most of it.
Well, I look forward to these back and forths, as we evolve the hoodie too,
Mhm.
and come out and widen the line, if you
Mhm.
will, and come out with different models and such. I would look forward to the feedback.
Yeah, I'd be interested in, like, I know you have a short sleeve version, but even maybe a no sleeve version.
Yeah.
Or you got
It's on the roadmap.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I could see that almost being like a base layer.
Yeah.
Almost like like a vest,
Yeah.
in the sense that, people like to have their arms a little bit.
Definitely.
And like, you could have it as a base layer for sleep and then put a t-shirt over it if you're a little bit.
Sure.
So I think having the sleeves sometimes a little hot.
Mhm.
So having the ability to layer on if you're too cold
Right.
with the no sleeves, I think would be a
Right.
good option.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of the women that I talked to early on were used to sleeping in tank tops
Mhm.
or a gown with no sleeves.
Sure.
So we definitely want to get there without a doubt.
So I'll have to get the women's version.
We'll see. We'll see. Like, we just consolidated. We're
Mhm.
simplifying. Now we've got a unisex instead of a men's and a women's.
Yeah, you can have the Bill Belichick line.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We can
Just cut the
just send them,
sleeves.
send instructions where to cut. That'll be perfect. Since we're in the office,
Yes.
I know you're a wealth management professional.
Yeah.
So go ahead and share where people can get in touch with you.
Oh, yeah. So we're comprehensive financial planners. We always fancy ourselves as being financial planners first and investment guys second. So it's always funny when people walk in and they ask me about the stock market, and I'm like, I can talk about the stock market, but that's not really what adds value to a conversation with people. So long story short, if you have any more questions about what we do, it's Waymark Wealth Management, and the website is waymarkwealth.com.
Outstanding. Oh, that's great. Thank you again.
Yeah, my
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Glenn.